The Tianjin Declaration of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, or the SCO, strongly condemned the terrorist attacks in Jammu and Kashmir's Pahalgam as well as the Khusdar and Jafar Express attacks in Pakistan. The declaration has been signed and adopted by the leaders of the 10-member organization, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi. However, as seen with previous declarations, India opted out of specific provisions of the Tianjin Declaration relating to the Belt and Road Initiative, or the BRI. In June, the SCO Defense Ministers meeting was unable to arrive at a consensus amongst the member states over the language regarding terrorism, with particular focus in condemning the terrorist attacks in Pahalgam. All 10 member countries have signed up to the leaders' declaration, including Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. The SCO is one of the few multilateral groupings with both India and Pakistan as members. The other member states are Belarus, China, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Iran, Uzbekistan, Russia, and Tajikistan. For India, the SCO statement is significant as it calls for bringing the perpetrators of terrorist attacks to justice, while also acknowledging the cross-border movement of terrorists, a long-standing position held by New Delhi. India has maintained that the Pahalgam terrorist attack, which killed 26 people, was carried out by terrorists from across the border. In retaliation, India launched Operation Sindoor on 7th May, targeting 10 terrorist complexes across Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir and Pakistan, including Bahawalpur and Muridka. New Delhi and Islamabad were engaged in an 87-hour conflict that ended following the two militaries reaching a bilateral understanding to pause the hostilities. Prime Minister Modi raised the issue of terrorism during his address at the SCO meeting, calling for no double standards in the fight against terrorism. On Sunday, during his bilateral meeting with President Xi Jinping of China, Modi called both countries victims of terrorist attacks. The Prime Minister left China earlier today following the two-day visit, which included bilateral meetings with Chinese President Xi Jinping, Senior General Min Aung Hlaing of Myanmar, and Russian President Vladimir Putin. President Xi on Monday called for the promotion of the correct historical perspective of World War II while speaking at the SCO Plus summit, which included the other leaders invited to attend this gathering. For Xi, the summit witnessed a troika of sorts, the leaders of Russia, India and China, all in one place. On Monday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also held a bilateral meeting with President Putin of Russia, which comes after India-US ties have cratered in recent weeks. Putin waited around 10 minutes for the Indian Prime Minister to join the Russian President in his car, and the two travelled to the bilateral venue in the Chinese city of Tianjin together. The hour-long meeting saw the Indian Prime Minister emphasize that India and Russia have always stood shoulder to shoulder in any difficult situation, while calling for an end to a conflict with Ukraine. The bonhomie between Modi and Putin is in stark contrast with US President Donald Trump's recent broadsides against Indian purchase of Russian oil. While the other members of the SCO welcomed the Belt and Road Initiative in the Tianjin Declaration, PM Modi, during his speech at the SCO, pushed for Indian-partnered projects such as the Chabahar port in Iran, which could be used for Afghanistan, and the international North-South transport corridor connecting India with Russia via Central Asia and Iran as alternative transport routes. New Delhi has maintained that the Belt and Road Initiative, in particular its projects in Pakistan under the aegis of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, or CPEC, is constructing infrastructure projects in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, contrary to India's territorial integrity and sovereignty. The SCO member states also strongly condemned the strikes against Iran by Israel and the US in June 2025. It should be noted that India had distanced itself from the SCO statement at the time, condemning these strikes and pointing to its own individual statement on the situation. India maintains ties with both Iran and Israel. The SCO also reiterated in the Tianjin Declaration its deep concern over the escalation of the conflict between Israel and Palestine and strongly condemned the actions that have led to a catastrophic humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip. That is all from me today. For more such news and analysis, subscribe below.